Have you ever been in a situation where a decision was made for you? I have. 3 years ago, I met my boss for lunch because I was frustrated. I was being given work that did not reflect my skill set and the value I added to that company. And being the person I am, I said my piece. But this time, I got a different response. Well, Christine, in order for you to become partner, you have to have confidence. You have to have executive presence. You have to know how to grow a business. That is, if becoming partner was something you are interested in. Those words were a punch in my gut. I would have preferred if he had told me I wasn't partner material. But instead, an assumption was made about me and a decision was taken away from me. I was done with that job. We put our goal of buying a house in Orange County on hold. And on January 1st, 2016, I made partner at a firm that valued and respected me, my own. That situation taught me that it's my decision and my responsibility to put myself in situations where I had the best chance of success. And I have found I thrive best when I'm forced to go where they ain't. Billionaire Mark Cuban, he uses the term going where they ain't to describe the following. If you're looking for the next big thing and you're looking in the same place, you're looking in the wrong place. And while there are terms such as disrupt or think outside the box, I like the directness and simplicity of going where they ain't. So, I have 3 methods that I use to push myself and others to go where they ain't. The first is to lean into my autonomy and embrace authenticity. So, I'm an introvert, and in business, that's viewed as a sign of weakness. I've had my share of performance evaluations saying that I had potential, but because I was the quietest person in the room, people weren't sure about me. I was even sent to a corporate training program where another woman business owner told me that I needed to get rid of my cardigans and put on a suit jacket to enhance my figure so that I would have more of an executive presence. Well, I never believed that. I always knew that my introverted traits were valuable when used in the right way. One of the responsibilities I had at my old job was to interview people who were about to be impacted by their organizations purchasing and installing large software systems. And I would have these meetings, often the youngest person in the room and the only person in a suit. And people would come to these meetings, not sure what was going on, confused, terrified they were about to lose their jobs. Jobs that some of them had had for anywhere up to 30 years. And I chose to go where they ain't to ensure that we were all going to be successful in the long term. Instead of an interview, I made it a conversation. Instead of being the IT consultant, I approached myself as Christine. And I did my prep work and asked questions that went beyond building software requirements. Questions like, what are your concerns? What is it that your boss doesn't know about that I need to make them aware of? And what parts of this process can I help clarify? And so, I developed a knack for taking these large, complex technical concepts and translating them into my own simple and relatable terms. I do the same thing today, albeit with a different audience, business owners. And this time, I'm a few years older and I do it in jeans. But it's the same concept. Business owners come to me confused that they're being told they need to spend a significant amount of money to grow their business. Or, on the flip side, they're spending way too much and they're not sure they can make payroll next week. But it's the same process, asking questions and making it a conversation instead of an interview. And what we're able to do is collaborate and find ways for them to meet their goals without having to spend that amount of money. And because of that, we're able to go where they ain't today and empower business owners to make sure that they're sustainable in the long term. My second method is to put myself in another person's shoes and understand what's in it for them. About a year and a half ago, I started the Orange County chapter of Chick Tech, a national non-for-profit whose mission is to increase and promote the number of women in tech. And when I did, I knew from the get-go there were a number of organizations out there trying to do what we were. We had to go where they ain't from the get-go, and we had to do it to stay relevant. But when I started it, I got a lot of pushback. People would tell me things like, well, you need to offer programming because that's what everyone else was doing. Or, you need to offer mentorship because that's what everyone else was doing. You need to spend money to make money because that's what everyone else was doing. I was busy being told what everyone else was doing, and no one was stepping up to do the work. So, I put myself in the shoes of people who could influence our ability to make an impact, those who would hire and promote our members. And when I would meet them, I would ask one question. What is it that we should be teaching our members so you want to hire and promote them? And people were shocked when I asked that. And I was shocked they were shocked. No one else was asking that question. And what I found was it wasn't the programming and it wasn't the mentorship that we needed to teach. We needed to teach skills that were applicable across all industries, skills like communication and how to be gritty. So we did that. But then we went further where they ain't, and we partnered with organizations in Southern California that promoted women's empowerment, groups that our competitors didn't necessarily see as value add, but our results said differently. In our first year of operations, we held just as many events in Orange County as 16 of our sister chapters did combined the year before we even existed. We went where they ain't, and we ended up in the right place. So, my third method is to develop and respect resilience. I am a law school dropout. When I was younger, I knew I wanted to be a lawyer. So much so, I finished college early and I went straight into law school. But after my first year, I wasn't happy, and it was impacting me mentally and physically. So I dropped out. And when I dropped out, people did not make it easy for me. I was ghosted, laughed at, yelled at. It's your decision, they would say. And I felt worthless. But then I asked myself one question. What was I going to do that was going to make me happy? And that moment of reflection allowed me to pivot into a master's degree from Northwestern University in Chicago, a school I never thought would be in my range of options. What ended up being, could have been, a paralyzing situation, I was able to walk out with a respect and understanding of resiliency. So, I want to go back to Mark Cuban's definition of going where they ain't. You know, where if you're looking at the next big thing and you're looking at the same place, you're looking in the wrong place. I'm going to add to that. Once you get to where they ain't, you need to be prepared to have people still tell you you're wrong. When word had gotten out that I was on my own with my business, we had friends and family who would ask us things like, is everything really okay? You are able to pay the bills, right? But they didn't know the work we had done beforehand. I had gotten a new HR credential. We had paid off all our debt. We were living on one salary to make sure that we were going to be successful. Even today, when I share my story, I often get eye rolls and looks of skepticism. But if it weren't for those experiences in the past, I wouldn't have the resilience to walk and continue despite the naysayers. So, fast forward to today. Where are we? It's been about 3 years since I went on my own full time. We started Bobo Strategy in 2010 with $15 of capital. Since then, we've grown it to 7 figures of annual recurring revenue with 2 full-time employees and no use of outside debt or capital. And that house hunt we put on hold, we closed on our first house in Orange County on October of 2016. With Chick Tech, in our first year of operations, we held 30 events serving 500 members of our community, all on a skeleton budget. But because we went where they ain't and focused on serving those who needed to be served, we caught the eye of several Orange County organizations who have funded us, many of who are not even tech companies. So, it's the decisions I've made, from walking away from a situation where an assumption and decision were taken away from me, to the decisions I make today that have generated these results. I've changed the game through my decisions.